All right. Okay. So welcome along to another marketing roundtable. And today we're going to be rocking and rolling on 5-day challenges. What are they? Why you should do them? How do you do them? The practical application of it. And we're going to be posing this question, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be saying, what is the 5-day challenge that you should run? Normal format is that we hit you up with the presentation for the first half of today, and the second half we like to roundtable and discuss, ask questions, help where we can. Okay, cool. So let me just jump over to the presentation. Fantastic to see you guys today. Really rocking and rolling. Remember, this is a weekly session, 9 o'clock UK time every single week, giving you a little bit of marketing madness to help your day. Okay, so how to run a 5-day challenge. Why run a 5-day challenge, and why do I particularly like 5-day challenges? Well, the type of challenges that I run are live, so you host them live. Why is that important? Well, it kind of gives you the ability to build relationships, to show authority, to be able to help, support, engage, inspire people to be able to do something differently. And what should they be doing? Well, they should be helping people to do something better, faster, quicker, easier, something they've never done before, something they've never considered before. Whatever that is, it should be very specific. And that's how a 5-day challenge would help. I saw a lovely guy yesterday, someone that I'm going to reach out to and say hello to, pitch a 5-day marketing challenge. Brilliant guy. I'm sure. I mean, I only just saw the top line of it, but the issue with a 5-day marketing challenge is it's like, well, marketing is like holding your hands out, trying to squeeze through a narrow gap. It is massive subject, huge. Like what's the little bit that you're going to help me to do my marketing better in 5 days? Actually, really, what if it was more of a setting up your first Facebook ad in 5-day challenge, or creating your new logo in 5 days challenge, right? So those are specific slices of marketing. And if you can slice a specific element of it, then people will go, oh, I had that pain, which is I didn't like my logo and I want a new one. And at the end of this 5-day challenge, the promise is I'll have a great logo. And so therefore, I don't mind committing an hour a day to see if that could happen. Kevin, we were just talking about before this started, helps people to become photographers, right? And so maybe one of his competitors might say, be a photographer in 5 days challenge. Well, that's just massive, just so massive, isn't it? Whereas if it was get your first wedding photography gig in 5 days, or something along those lines, or something specific like how to take a great portrait photo in 5 days, very specific, actual pain that I might have or something that I want to improve on, and therefore the people will gravitate towards you. Make sense? Good. Okay. So also we really like for 5-day challenge because it's authentic. You genuinely want to help people. And it's not like read my ebook and then just, I've got your email address, so I'm going to spam you till heaven comes. Actually, a 5-day challenge has people sitting there looking at you. And in that time, over 5 days, you need to make improvements in their world for the challenge to be successful. And so then you have to give authentic advice. You have to give real advice to help real people make real changes. And so therefore, I love it. It holds you accountable to be authentic. And also people do see that as well. And then they'll know, Emma's the real deal. She's awesome, right? And so therefore, people will then gravitate and also talk about you from it. They say, I love that 5-day challenge. You missed it. Oh, you should go and reach out to Emma. She's awesome, right? It's that kind of thing. And also they're a tester. So it's that kind of try before you buy, right? So if you are selling me a life coaching and you want me to go on a journey with you for 12 months to be able to make changes in my life because I'm feeling bad about various things and I want to make these improvements, or I want to make these different career jumps, or whatever it is, that's a heck of a commitment from my side to go and hand over the keys to Richard for 12 months to be able to then make these big life changes. So a 5-day challenge, and in that 5-day challenge, maybe you helped me. Maybe it's something like, learn to learn the first stages of the Om meditation in 5 days, or whatever it is, and therefore your coaching had meditation for my life thing. If you helped me do that, and I was like, wow, that was awesome, I'm far more likely to be able to give you the keys to the Richard to then take us on this journey for 12 months. See what I mean? And then finally, they also take community. So we always talk about when anybody's trying to make a change, when anybody's trying to do something, most people don't realize that there's there's 5 elements that you need, 4 core elements, and then one that binds it all. People need leadership when they're trying to make a change or do something better, right? They also need personalized advice to be able to help them, right? They need a community of people. And they also need to change a habit. They need to make a routine of trying to change that habit. So what do we mean by that? I go from not really knowing anybody that can help me with my photography to finding Kevin and going, well, he really knows what he's talking about, and I really like his advice, and it's awesome. To going, there's so many generic YouTuber videos of how to do photography, to actually I'm getting personalized changes based upon the work that I'm submitting. Awesome, I'm finding Kevin. I go from actually not knowing anybody else that's trying to do this kind of become a photographer business to I found a room full of people that are very much like me, who ask similar questions to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's awesome. And I go from sporadically trying to do this a little bit every other weekend, etc., to I've made a habit. I'm turning up every day in a 5-day challenge to actually help to make this happen. It's become a habit to go see Kevin for my leadership, and to see the community, and to ask questions, personalized advice. And the thing that binds it is accountability. Accountability to take Kevin's advice and follow him. Accountability to ask questions. Accountability to be a good community member and help others. And accountability to show up. And the beauty of a 5-day challenge is it hits all these markers. So when someone's in the center here, and then we're going to talk about what happens next, what happens at the end of the 5-day challenge, it's like the challenge is over. And I'm like, but I've made a habit, and I love these people, and I need you. And Kevin, don't leave me. And of course, what am I going to do? I'm going to then make a serious consideration on whatever your call to action is. That's a T, call to action. Whatever your pitch is, I'll make a serious consideration, because I'll miss you. And I miss the team. I miss the community. And you see how I do miss you, Kevin, by the way. So you do see.
I'll miss you, Richard. I've been pining for you.
So you see how having all these elements together are such a wonderful little micro campaign for you as a thought leader. So here's an example of the type of thing that you could achieve. So we recently run a 5-day getting sales from LinkedIn challenge, right? So you see that it's getting sales, so specific. This is not about branding. This is not about content marketing. It's getting sales from LinkedIn challenge, right? You can see how the name of my challenge was hyper specific. It wasn't a marketing challenge and etc. And I always, it's not generic. It's not walking through a narrow corridor with your arms out. John here on the left hand side, look at this, these people, 4 positive responses so far. Look at his post that he's putting out there, excited. Jan's here going, yeah, I've got one, I've got 2 hang on, what do you say? Yeah, first connections within 2 hours, 6 responses, right? So he's getting 6 responses, and then he's now saying, now I've got 6 positive responses. You see how it develops. And I've got this nice response. People are sharing that in the community. So the community is sharing stuff. They're sharing wins. Collectively, they're growing. Karen Skidmore here, she says that part of the challenge, she's got 4 call schedules in the diaries over 3 weeks and still counting. Awesome, happy days, and people are all celebrating with her. Jay, who I think I might have saw her on this call actually. Again, she got a number of calls in there, and I know I share these different examples in here. They're just examples of people succeeding, and not just them being able to post like, yeah, but also them demonstrating the community also supporting and liking along with it. So this is the kind of thing you want to put together. So friends, this is That's why a 5-day challenge is important. I'm going to talk to you now about the funnel that you need to be able to create it, or the system. And then secondly, I'm going to show you a timeline of what happens on which days. So first of all, you need to fill the funnel. So we talk about organic and paid traffic. What do we mean by that? Well, look, you're going to hit your email list out with this offer. You're going to be talking to them about, hey, we've got a challenge coming up. It's exciting. You also could be putting a pop-up Facebook group. So maybe you've got a landing page that you're sending people to say, hey, we're running this 5-day challenge. So you could do some paid traffic. You can do some organic social media. You could do some emails to your database. You just basically swamp the market for a couple of weeks leading up to the event to just be full on, I'm running this challenge. Now, the secret is to actually pop up a Facebook group. Because when you do this, and it doesn't have to be a Facebook group, it could be a LinkedIn group, it could be Mighty Networks or school or whatever you want to do, but you need to pop up a community. I like Facebook. And what you want to do is to say, right, I built this Facebook, it's brand new, right? So this is the group for the challenge, right? In that challenge, you might be putting the recordings, or you might be going live, or whatever it is, you put in the homework, but you pop it up before the challenge starts. Then you promote it through these ads and through the organic and through your email list, and you get people to hit the waiting list, right? And so they can't go into the group until a specific day. And you say, right, we're going to be starting the challenge on Monday, but on Friday, we're going to open the doors to the community. And on Friday, we're going to ask people to introduce themselves. Then on Saturday and Sunday, we're also going to ask them a question. And so on Saturday, we might say, so for example, for my LinkedIn challenge, on Saturday, we said, what would people say their experience of LinkedIn is so far? So we've asked a question, everybody's now talking about LinkedIn. And on the Friday, we asked them what they did. So everybody got to know everybody. And then Saturday, we then started to talk about LinkedIn. And then on the Sunday, we also asked them, what's the one thing they'd like to get out of the challenge starting tomorrow? And then everybody put it down. So this just allows people to start to get to know people in this group. So you're building that community stuff, and you're also building the personalization, i.e. people saying what they want from it. The wonderful thing about this, though, with something like Facebook, is, of course, it spikes the algorithm, because that community has got engagement. That community has got members that are all chatting away, and it's a real frenzy of activity. So what does Facebook do? Well, it starts showing this to other people on Facebook. And of course, what do other people on Facebook do? Well, they go, well, I'll try and join that thing. And then that Facebook starts to kick your organic in. You get more people in the waiting list. Anybody that's run a Facebook group before will know that you can add 3 questions when people come into the group, 1, 2, 3. And those 3 questions can be, hey, what is it that you do? So you just make sure the right industry sector. 2, what's your email address? Because if you haven't joined the challenge yet, I'll help you out. And then final one could be, some other question that's important for you. But the most important thing is to make sure you know what type of business they are. So you want to have the right people in the room, and what's their email address. So then you can then add them into the challenge, so they get the challenge emails. So you see how that works. Supply and demand. You create a kind of, a dam before anybody comes in, and then boom, you break the dam, ask a big question, i.e. introduce yourself. Of course, we all love speaking about ourselves. And then boom, the frenzy goes up, the engagement goes up. And of course, the next post that you put out there will do really well, because if your last post did well in the group, then you'll have a really good feed for your next post and your next post. So by the time you hit Monday, the post that you put out, which is day 1 of the challenge, what's going to happen? It's going to do well. And therefore, it has this cascading snowball effect of engagement. Clever, right? Clever. Would you expect anything less? Right. So, right. So, next piece is that obviously you're going to run your 5 days of live content. I'm going to show you kind of a little bit how these days work. And then we're going to pitch. And there's a way of pitching at the end. So let's just look at this. So your challenge promo, we start 7 days out. So you've got 7 days of challenge promo. So you can see this is kind of like a 17-day campaign, right? So it is literally, I go and I have 4 campaigns a year. So I do 2 challenges, and I then have Black Friday, and I have a summer sizzler, offering that we do. So that's kind of how my year looks. So we have these different campaigns, and then I have my baseline. This is, just to give you a feel, because I think it's important to think about this. When I'm looking at 2023, I know that I've got my weekly moment. We talk about weekly moments all the time. So this is a weekly moment for me. Yours could be a podcast. Yours could be an event. Yours could be whatever it is, but you need a moment every week to bring people to, right? So then you do your weekly moments, right? So that's your baseline. And then that should be you should be able to generate, your momentum and your sales and your awareness and your branding all from this. But then just to create these nice little spikes every quarter, should be thinking about a little campaign. So one of them could be Black Friday. So running a little Black Friday campaign. Awesome. Another one could be, a challenge. Another one could be, we call it about Summer Sizzler. Summer Sizzlers, by the way, are like a Black Friday, but you do a little kind of campaign and offering a few webinars and stuff. In July, the idea is to be able to get people to kind of sign up to whatever you're doing. You tell them it's great that they're going to go away on holiday in August, but you give them a little offer, or you give them August free, and then they start in earnest in September. And so that's a nice way to be able to nail clients before it gets quiet in August, if your industry has that. So that's just a little tip there. And then you could do another challenge at the start of the year. Do you see how you can start to plan your year and plan your campaigns out like this? Cool. Right, let's come back to this. So this is just like promo days. So these are emails. You might be doing an email every other day to your database, posts out to every day, countdown clocks, lots of bit of social stuff. But for you, it's 7 days. It's only a week's worth of content. You probably start planning this a week before. So you just then roll into this, smash out the marketing for a week, run the challenge for 4 days, because the 5th day of a challenge is always the launch, the offer day. Okay, so day 5 of the challenge, you launch the offer. So you do a little Q&A at the start, you do a recap of the challenge, everybody shares their success, and then you say, great, we're going to be closing the challenge today, but you have an opportunity for us to continue to work. And you can say, we've got this fantastic offer, it's only special for challengers, it gives you X, Y, and Z. And you'll be able to start and carry on momentum of all the stuff that we've learned today if you then join my program, right? Or if you buy my service. Remember, if you're a service person, you could also be doing this exactly same model if you're providing a service, right? And then you then launch the offer, and you do other days, and then you close the offer. So if you think about this, the 12th would be a Friday, and then 13th and 14th is Saturday and Sunday. So what you do is you send emails and reminders and case studies and testimonials on those days. Then what you do is you start to close the offer. So usually either the Monday or the Tuesday, you would do a little extra Q&A session that relates back to the challenge. And you say, hey, we want to do this Q&A session. So you do the Q&A session, and then you close the offer. So you're basically only running the challenge for 4 days, but you're selling for 6. With different bits because you've worn them up. That's why you go high impact in those 4 days. It also helps because people if you try and overwhelm people with stuff to do, they do nothing. Whereas you give them a few simple things to do and reinforce that over those 4 days, they get wins, and then they're ready to kind of join. Cool. Next step. I don't know why that, yeah, perfect. Okay. So next step is the campaign. Oh, hello. So here's, I love a funnel visualization. This is the kind of work that we do with our clients when we actually really plot out the entire visualization of this. I don't want you to over worry about this. This is the kind of simple look of that. How this unpeels itself into a plan. So this is all the social media going into the landing page. That's the first 7 days, right? So boom, first 7 days. Then you start to think about, well, actually, when they join the challenge, you want to send them to a thank you page. It gets them into the Facebook group. You can then send some engagement emails to people ahead of time, or engagement posts. Remember, we talk about those Friday, Saturday, Sunday, get people warmed up. Then you launch the challenge. So these are just lives with emails that are just going back to people about the live. So there's an email beforehand which says, hey, we're starting the live in 5 minutes. And then there's an email afterwards which say, hey, here's the replay of yesterday's. Right? So you can see how that works. And then you then launch the sales page. And then these are the different emails that you might put in, right? You know, we talked about selling for 6 days. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's things such as money, time, fear, future pace, that you use. And those are just levers, classic sales levers that you pull to be able to make that sale, you know? So they're not like, you haven't got any time, but it's not the American, like, you know, buy now, otherwise the world will explode. But you just need to understand that it is good to have an overarching theme for an email when you're trying to close a deal. So one of the things that people always say is, I just haven't got time to learn to be a photographer, or I haven't got time to be able to make that next career jump, or to be able to work upon meditation. And so by someone saying that, you need to answer that. You already know that's an objection. I haven't got enough money. You already know that's going to be an objection. So you hit those up and answer those questions within those emails. Let me give you a real life example. So real life example is people go, oh, I haven't got enough time to be able to run the $1 million sprint. And so what I do, you can see here, this is all my little landing pages that I send to people when I have objections. And I've got, perfect. So I've got a landing page here which says your perfect $1 million hour, right? In this below video, in just 5 minutes, you'll learn the secrets of becoming a momentum-driven marketer and how a simple change to your daily routine will guarantee your success. i.e., I'm going to show you how just working on your business for an hour a day can make a massive impact. And you do have time, because in that video, I'm going to tell you to get up an hour earlier, stop being lazy, and do your marketing. And ultimately, that video is an objection overcoming video. It's the sort of thing that I would use to send out in one of those emails. It would send out, and it's done in a really nice way. It's thought leadership based. Here, just to help, I'll stick it in the chat there for you guys if you want to have a look at that. Just open it, maybe keep it, have a little look at that later. And ultimately, at the end of it, then if people want to, you know, you can send this sort of stuff out. And of course, look, you've got a little button here that says that let me show you how. And of course, therefore, it goes through to a thing where people can book in for a strategy session, right? So you can start to see how you overcome objections and then move people down your funnel. And that's how this type of model. And that's why, if I just find the presentation, it's important to be that one step ahead of people, because they want to buy. You've got to give them enough reasons to do so. And you've got to take away the fears that they have of doing so. And so hence why those come in. Cool. And then hit people with a thank you page. They buy your, you know, this goes into a sales page, goes to the thank you page because they bought your stuff. They sign a contract if you got that. Maybe you give them a survey as well. And that survey is like, you know, how was the 5-day challenge, if you really want to. But job done, right? Client on board. Then you're onboarding your way. So although this looks like whoa, that's a lot of work. It's just a case of just starting on the left and unpicking it each step of the way. And just as a caveat, I tell people to really double down on one social media network. So although I'm showing all these, if you're a Facebook person, you'll be doing Facebook organic, Facebook ads. You might even have your own Facebook group that you'll be piling people into this. If you're a LinkedIn person, you'll be doing LinkedIn and maybe some automated LinkedIn outreach. You would be working double downing on one thing. Cool. So here's the question that I want to roundtable today. What would be your 5-day challenge? And if you've done one, what has the wins, the successes, the issues, the dramas, the enjoyment, what has happened on 5-day challenges? Into the room, gang. John.
I haven't yet done a 5-day challenge, hence the reason why I'm here today. But just a very question. It sounds like a lot of time, a 5-day challenge, which is why I haven't attended or joined any. You know, so come and join my 5-day challenge and everything else. It's all free, and it's like it might be free, and I might get something out of this, but I haven't got time to give up 5 days. So, how long are they normally in general?
So the in the marketing, you'll be saying, we tell you to book out an hour a day to do the challenge. The content that we present will be 15 to 20 minutes each morning. And then you have got that extra bit of time to be able to go implement the thing. And so what you do is you hit them day 1 and day 2 with the biggest, most impactful thing that they can do with the smallest amount of time. You've got to be really careful. So I started out in challenges. I think it was 2017. We did our first one. Do you remember the 30 leads in 30 days challenge, John? I don't know if you remember me seeing that. Kevin, did you put your hand up as well?
I remember it.
So I did 30 leads in 30 days challenge. It was a great thing. Oh my God. It was my entire book descended into little tasks in there, and I spent bloody ages on it. It was free. We got loads of people, and then we started selling it for like 300 quid or whatever. But it was just too big. It was too big, too many things like build landing pages, it was just too big a thing for people to do. So it never, it got lots of inquiries, but not many people really succeeded how I intended them to, because I was asking them to do too many things. So actually making it 5 days and telling them you're only do a specific result within those 5 days, and it's only going to be an hour of your time, and it's going to be between 9 and 10 every single day. And trust me, it's going to be awesome. Then there, and do you remember, not everybody's going to do it. So we had 160 people signed up for the LinkedIn one, and ultimately we had about 40 people attending each day, but probably 20 people were really doing the stuff. But ironically, some of the people that never did any of the stuff brought. Some of the people that didn't even attend any of the live sessions watched them on the replay and then went and brought our offer. And some of the people who were doing something every single day were like, oh, we did all the stuff now, I don't really want to buy now, so I'll wait, and didn't buy it. Do you know what I mean? And so it's a fickle thing, but it's a moment. It's a marketing moment, and therefore it's an opportunity to warm people up. And it's a good splash. Sometimes we need splashes. So have a think of that and work through that. I'll tell you what, I'll take another question in a second, but before I do, we offer these complimentary strategy sessions to kind of go through in depth what your marketing would be. And you can see here, we do a strategy session. We look at trying to help people to be able to look at where they are now, where they'd like to be in 12 months, what campaigns and processes they should do to get there. And then ultimately we do a demo of the $1 Million Sprint product. And we only do that if it's appropriate and if we think that we can really help you. I would really love for each and every one of you to jump into that session if you haven't done already, and jump onto there. You can see here, I'll just put it into the chat there. You can then click on this orange button and it takes you through to the calendar. We run it once a week on a Wednesday at 12:30. There is opportunity. This is today's. There is opportunity to jump on this 12:30 one. So do that if you've got time today, and it's a massive value session. If not, there's only 2 more sessions after that for this year, which is the 7th and the 14th. So jump on one of those 3 sessions and we can look at what your plan for 2023 is, and what campaigns, should it be LinkedIn? Should it be Facebook? Should you be doing a 5-day challenge? Should you be running a weekly moment? We'll go through all of that for your business specifically. So jump on there, click that button, happy days. Cool. In fact, I'll chuck this into the chat as well because it will help. And then that's got that, this Calendly link is in there as well. So that's with me personally. It's not some sort of salesperson that's going to be there. It's not a sales session. It's a strategy session to help you. Cool. So questions, gang, thoughts. What would your challenge be?
Well, I'm definitely inspired to do something. I think it'll be how to get more referrals.
How to get referrals? How to get more referrals?
Get 20 referrals in a 5-day challenge sort of thing.
Nice. I think it's for a networking organization that's still quite broad. So something more like how to create the perfect 60 seconds pitch, and therefore create the cool something quite there, or it could be how to get referrals, I guess, or how to get more referrals at networking meetings. Now that's more specific. And so therefore people might be looking at that. and would come along. That's more brand specific. So just try and narrow it as much as possible. Gina mentioned in the chat, which might help for, is should I run this challenge within my existing Facebook group? And we always say don't. Campaign and run the 7 days of marketing into existing Facebook group and siphon people into the other group. The reason why is that in your existing Facebook group tends to be that it's been maybe not so busy, there's been not so much engagement, and so therefore you can't do that waiting room, build the dam and let it rip, because people go in there, and so therefore the new people come in. But what happens is the new people be talking with like 20% of them, which means that the group itself has only got sort of 20% of people talking, and therefore it won't pollinate so much. And also there'll be people in there who are like, why not? What is this 5-day challenge? I wasn't even sure what this is. So if you create a pop-up group, then 100% of the people know that they're there for a reason. 100% of the people engage, and therefore the virality of that group and the amount of engagement it gets is far higher percentage wise, and Facebook rewards you with that reach. So it's far better to pop it up, go into it, but then there's also the added bonus that you pop it down again, i.e. you close it and the community loses all that content and loses all those people, and then there's a sense of loss and desire to then work with you, and hence why they might then come and join your program. So it's that. You see how you've got levers to be able to pull. Alex, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what do you do when you've finished with this group now? You've done your little pop-up group. Do you delete the group, or do you what do you do with it?
You archive it.
Archive
it, yeah. And it's an interesting thing in archive groups. So we've got a few archive groups and different challenges, and they've got, you can see all the stuff in there. It looks great. You can go back and use it as a reference and kind of copy and paste stuff for your next time you run the same challenge. And don't be afraid to run the same challenge. You've worked hard on making that thing. That's a new challenge every time. If it's a successful challenge, you should roll it out a couple of times a year. I certainly do with the LinkedIn one, as you know, Alex. I think you've been on it twice. So the point being is that you archive the group, and so therefore it sits there dormant. Now, if you want to with an archive group, you can unarchive it and hit them up with a promotion. So for example, we will unarchive groups and hit them up with a summer sizzler, or we will unarchive groups and tell them about a new challenge that we might be running. So if we're running a LinkedIn challenge and we're talking about running a Facebook ads challenge next year, we'll probably unarchive our 2 LinkedIn challenge groups and promote the fact that we got a 5-day challenge coming up, but it's for Facebook ads, and then get everybody to jump into there. It's about just taking your high engaged people and moving them around to keep on rolling into the next one, as well as also filling it up with fresh people. Cool. Other thoughts, Gan? What challenges would we do? Emma.
Hiya, I was thinking about putting together a 5-day challenge to build your company culture in line with your values for a service-based business. Nice.
So company culture in line with your value. How would they do that?
That's probably a very good question. I think in the first instance, I'd need to get behind the mechanics more, but trying to be specific, knowing that we've got challenges ahead in terms of the economic climate. If we don't have a clear culture, if we've not engaged our team correctly, we run the risk of losing our team. So it would all be about the sort of people-centric part of it, making sure that we had a culture that was in line with what we expected our people to see and feel when they work for us, and our customers to experience when they deal with us.
Do you see how big that is?
Yeah.
They should be paying you for 12 months consultancy to do that thing. So 5 days. So what I would do is I'd break that down and say, well, look, what's one of the things that you might do? So I've got 2 culture consultant businesses that are part of what we do. So I know that one of the things that they do right at the start is using an employee survey. And so why don't you do how to run a highly effective employee culture survey in 5 days?
Brilliant.
Now, what does that do? One, it's a real practical thing. At the end of the 5 days, you can ask them, Dave, Did you run your survey? Yes or no? And they go, yes. Wicked. You won. You did the challenge. Tina, did you do it? No. Oh, well, you know, you didn't win. You didn't finish the challenge. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's very obvious if someone has done it. And so therefore there's a good result. But also it's so perfect for you because that's the first thing on your journey. And, you know, if you've ever kind of watched any of my stuff before, my classic kind of journey map, which everybody needs one of these, right? Whenever you're selling a service, you are actually selling a result. That result for you is that they need to have an awesome company culture so the business is working as in unison and they're able to grow their business, right? That's what they want to buy. I want to come and see Emma and I want to buy that from you. I want to buy this heaven from you. Where they are now, the reality is the shit's about to hit the fan economically. People are all worried. There's got this silo team over here and these people are being offshored to France or whatever it is. And we just don't even know what's going on, right? And so therefore there's this journey to be able to get from where they are now to result. And step one is that survey. Step two might be, you know, to implement town halls. Step three might be to actually start doing 360 surveys. Step four might be to do this. That might be an away day. Step five. Do you know what I mean? You've got these different steps to take them from where they are now to the result. And that becomes the thing that you sell. You sell the result to them. And then they look at your customer journey map and they justify that journey by looking at this from where they are now to the result they get. And the wonderful thing for you is that there's maybe little 5 steps or 4 different things they can do to be able to set up this survey and run that survey. That can become your free challenge. And then you then paint this picture to them and say, congratulations, you've done step 1, but what are you going to do with those results? And how do you implement it? Well, here's what we suggest. And for a special offer today of just you can start this journey with me. See?
Yeah.
Let me bring that to life for everybody. So we've got in the $1 Million Sprint, we did some internal challenges. So we did some internal challenges. One of them was to create one of these. And so we all went off and created our customer journey maps. And then we share this. This is an internal document that we look at for our clients, and you can see here that these are all the customer journey maps. So there's different steps. You can see here you've got this is the buy, refurbish, refinance portfolio accelerator, right? So that's a property guy, right? You got the 10x revenue growth performance. So this is a salesperson, right? And so taking from different steps all the way along the journey. You got Lee's frontline to freedom, so taking people from the army to being their own business, and they've got a nice journey map. You know, you got loads of different, this is the 100k success formula, and it does it a little racing. So you can see how all of these different journey maps are really, really important and can really help you to create your journey, your map that you then sell, and that's your accelerator. If I was to give anybody one tip, have a journey map. Really, really helps. Cool. So that's how you do it. That's how challenge goes into accelerator.
Thank you.
No drama. Cool. Good to see you, Emma. Further questions, gang. So we kind of, officially we finish quarter 2, but I'm happy to stick around 5-10 more minutes to answer further questions if people have them. So backing over to you guys. Any questions, gang?
I just want to say thanks, mate. It's what you've given out here, and you give out consistently every Wednesday is awesome. It's so valuable, and it's certainly challenging me on the various different things you spoke about today. So I appreciate the effort and the time you put into these. Thank you.
Ah, pleasure. No worries at all. It's coming, mate. Further thoughts, gang? Yes, Caroline.
Yes. So what if the work you do with clients is on perhaps a physiological basis? Can 5-day challenges work for that kind of thing?
So just give me some examples of the type of work you would do.
Okay, so I work with people's voices. My biggest problem is that I have a great strengthening exercise for your diaphragm, which really helps support your voice. In 7 days' time, I can hear the difference because my hearing is much more acute. and I've been doing this an awful long time, so I can pick that up. You won't necessarily yet, but I can hear it. You might pick it up if you keep going 2 or 3 weeks later, and then other people will start going, cool, you're sounding really good, but that may be another 2 or 3 weeks after that. So there's that thing around muscles and stuff like that.
So I don't think that's your challenge.
No.
No.
but I can't. But I'm struggling with, you know.
But the you got to just look at some other ways of doing it. The reason why it could be, but it's too long tail for, yeah. And also it's not a big enough win in the 5 days. Because only you can tell me, but you would do, because you're the, do you know what I mean? And I'm sure, and that's only the cynic in the person on the challenge's mind is what they're.
No, I understand. I totally understand that.
So that's not your challenge. So what else can you help people to do?
So I've been trying to sort of chunk this down as you've been talking. So I suppose. There are 3 things that tend to bug me a little bit when people speak, and it's not just about speakers, but people who need to perhaps do presentations. One is around if they just do a simple warm-up beforehand, it exponentially puts you in a different league as you start speaking. And so I could do a little thing each day, so they've got a little warm-up, which that would basically help. So
could it be something? Could it be something around like a pre-presentation prep challenge? So in 5 days, we're going to put together a complete tailored pre-presentation or pre-speaking gig prep for you. And so something along the lines of, maybe the actual practical stuff, like making sure you got the water there and your stuff set up and all the rest of it. And then other stuff could be more along the lines of the warming up your voice, and those bits sorted, and I just, what is it you want? So here's another way of really helping people that are trying to think about this. Let's go back to our journey map. So where you are now, the result that you want to get to people, right? So this is what you're going to show people afterwards to sell them your program. Your program is the entire piece. Now, if you take each element of this and go, right, there's 5 bits here. Well, look, we always say to take the 5 or 6 steps and go, right, we're going to think about 2 subjects here, 2 subjects here, 2 subjects here, 2 subjects here. That gives us 13 subjects. We want to hit the 13 subjects. Whenever I talk to clients about creating a weekly moment, I say create 13 weekly moments, and that allows you to be your 13-week cycle. Why 13? Well, 52 weeks times divided by 4 equals 13, or 13 times by 4 equals 52 weeks, right? So that's your rhythm for the year. You just run each event 4 times a year. And so that gives you the ability to look at how your accelerator splits down, like you unpeel it like an orange, and that works. So if I give you an example using our website, if you just go onto our website and go up to the top here and go Marketing Roundtable, you'll see here, reserve your seat, and then our upcoming events, 1, 2, 3 to 13. And then, we run these beats on a 13-week cycle 4 times a year. Bam. Book now to access any of them. So this is our unpeeling of all the sort of things that we think about that people want to know when they start to enter our world. Everything from Facebook lead ads to actually 9 steps to $1 million in revenue. So big picture stuff and then specific stuff. Now, many of these we could run a challenge on. I could run a challenge on getting Trello set up. I could run a challenge on using Facebook groups to make leads. I could run a challenge on running a challenge. I could run a challenge on lead generation 101, i.e. the first things people need to do. And so you can start to see how you could unpick that. Now, I might not be able to run a challenge on the power of 1, because the power of 1 is so big, because I tell people to have 1 social network, 1 weekly moment, 1 sales pitch, and 1 product delivery. So awareness, consider, convert, deliver, 1 thing in each one. It's a big change. It's a big kind of mindset shift, and it's probably a bit wide for a challenge. It just doesn't give me a specific result quick enough, right? I know it's valuable, but it's big. So that's where you go, oh, maybe I don't run a challenge on that. But Facebook lead ads, awesome. Yeah, let's run a challenge on running some Facebook ads. Awesome. Do you see? And so that's how, one, you can come up with your weekly moment, but two, you can also then convert one of those weekly moments into a 5-day challenge.
Okay.
So my advice to you, just to break that back down, work your journey map, look at each stage and break that down into the topics that you need to do to complete those stages. Like the example that I showed here, just very quickly, but you can see how if I go down to here, you've got 1 or 2 little bits of content below each one of these that then tells you actually what gets done in each one of those segments. And therefore, what does she do? She then breaks that down into little weekly moments. And people will go, but that means you're giving all your stuff away. The point being is that these sessions, ultimately, there's like half of it, which is me delivering an idea, and half of it, which is round table. But me speaking for 15 minutes, in no way, this little 15 minutes inspires people to think about 5-day challenges, adds plenty of meat on the bone. But ultimately, why someone would buy my program is because they really want to know how it works for them. They want the accountability. They want the sessions. I see my clients every single day. I have a drop-in clinic every single day to be able to help them. They want the templates, the swipe files, the online training. There's just so much more that you give to people when you're helping them that 15 minutes of presentation can never give them that. And so hence why, for the right people, the door is always open for coaching and helping. And for an audience, you got to earn the right to be heard. And so that's why you give great content away and do things like 5-day challenges.
Okay.
Hi, it just crossed my mind actually as based on what Caroline said. I was thinking, you mentioned their voices, but I guess, the actual result or outcome is something in their life, like, I don't know, confidence, being more assertive. So things like that. So maybe, if you can connect with what would happen in those 4 or 5 days, not depending on the voice, maybe some changes, maybe they would do some things differently.
I love it. Yeah.
I've got an issue in that, unlike most of you guys, I think most of you are B2B, I'm B2C. And so, yeah, my issue is timing, and it has remained an issue because the only time I can get in front of most people when I've had Zoom calls with groups is in the evening. But that has had such a detrimental impact upon home life. So my wife, Linda, it's clear that it's not good when I'm working in the evening. I'm supposed to be retired now. I'm really old guy. I was 68 2 days ago. I'm seriously old. So the idea is I'm working less, but it feels like I'm actually not. So if I'm working in an evening, it does cause friction. So I do everything I can now to avoid any kind of evening work. So then the alternative is to do something during the day. And of course, so many people have jobs and they're at work. This is my balance struggle. If you've got any thoughts here, which I haven't thought of, I'd love to hear.
I always say for clients that want to do, who B2C that go during the day, you do a lunch and learn. And so lunch and learn. So you pitch it as, bring your sandwich. We're going to do a drop-in clinic. We're going to do lunch and learn. And we're going to be talking about photography and working. Kevin, your little smile make me. I miss that smile. But yeah, you do a lunch and learn, and you pitch it as that.
I nearly said something rude. That's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Okay.
Yeah. You just got to get into people's minds, and you make it an event. So I know this lunchtime, I'm going to bring my sandwiches to work. I'm going to make sure I get a little park bench, and I'm going to jump onto a session with Kevin because I've been really looking forward to that. Lunch and learn.
Thank you.
There you go. All right, no worries. Well, look, guys, that's a nice time to just quickly wrap up. Remember that we have spaces for this afternoon on this session, so do jump in. In fact, actually, I'll put it back to the November link Here you go. So jump into this session this afternoon, talk about your business and look at how these ideas can actually be implemented for you. So that's in there. So book into that. Another free session, 12:30 this afternoon. But other than that, if you're already booked on or I've spoken to you already, then we'll look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday at 9 o'clock for another marketing roundtable. Big love. Take care. See you on the flip side.